You can start here because you're going to speak first. So.
We're not going to let that guy in.
Robin.
You ready? I think we'll go ahead and get started. First, let me thank everybody for being here today. We're pleased to be here for some happy news. I know it's especially welcome at this time as we wrap up a very unprecedented year. Today, we are here to announce the formation of a new fund through the Community Foundation of the Ozarks that is designed to honor the dedicated employees here at the county and to benefit historic preservation at the Greene County Courthouse. Today, you will hear from Commissioner Harold Bengsch, Director of Greene County Resource Management, Kevin Barnes, Community Foundation President and CEO Brian Fogel, Presiding Commissioner Bob Dixon, and Commissioner John Russell. With that, I'd like to ask Commissioner Bengsch to the podium to kick us off.
Thank you, Donna. And good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to stand here in front of you all today and do my part on this announcement. And my part is to talk about our employees. You know, when I came to the office of County Commissioner 16 years ago, I was met with some of the most dedicated, accommodating, and sincere public servants you will ever meet. It goes without saying, they were concerned for Greene County. And that concern was translated into good county government. It would be a privilege if citizens could spend time with some of our office holders and department heads to experience what I've had the privilege and indeed honor of experiencing these last 16 years. There are times whenever there is an outstanding individual that accomplishes something that needs recognition. Unfortunately, you cannot budget in county government what it costs to do that recognition because you're spending taxpayer dollars. And we want to be responsible stewards of those dollars. So most of the time, those good deeds, those accomplishments that our employees do go unnoticed. Oh, we can put a note in the rotunda, our county news organ, but the community doesn't see that. We also would like to be in a position to where once a year we can do an employee appreciation luncheon. Unfortunately, we cannot do that. And the list goes on. What you're going to hear today is an effort that we're beginning to see if we cannot accomplish what we cannot do today. I don't think I'm going to say any more. It would be easy to tear up since I am retiring from office. But just let me close by saying Greene County is served by the most dedicated employees you will find anywhere on this planet. Believe me, I work with them. I know them. We are a family of servants to the citizens of Greene County. And I thank you very much for letting me express my feelings. Am I to introduce Kevin?
Yes, please.
There's going to be another reason you're going to hear about this funding source. And at this time, Kevin Barnes is going to explain that to us. Kevin?
I've been asked to talk to you about the restoration efforts in the historic courthouse. Just a little background, the construction of the historic courthouse began in 1910 and has been continuously occupied since 1912. Although it no longer houses courtrooms, it's home to many of the county's administrative offices. It's a beautiful building, but it has all the issues you would expect of a 100-year-old building. The tuck pointing and basic maintenance have been done by the county throughout the years. But the projects that we like to do, like cleaning the interior stone, relocating the electrical conduits that have been assembled over the years, restoring the stained glass, those items will never be able to compete with the other issues that the county has to budget for. The county has been able to utilize historic grants in the past for the exterior doors and for a roof replacement. And those grants are going to be available in the future, but most of them require matching funding. And so one of the biggest current needs at the building is replacement of the 40-year-old buildings. Anyone who works in the building will tell you that you feel the breeze when it's windy outside. But a project we've dreamed about for several years has been replacement of the parapet on the courthouse. If you've ever seen photos of the historic courthouse with the parapet, it was taken down in the 70s because of concern over structural issues, but you'll never view the building the same once you see it. It again won't ever rise to the highest need of the county, but it would be awesome to be able to replace that at some point. By establishing this fund, we're excited to provide citizens the opportunity to help restore this iconic building to its original glory. And I'd like to turn the podium over to Brian Fogel, President and CEO of Community Foundation of the Ozarks, to explain more about the fund.
Thank you, Kevin, very much. And I want to say thank you and add my thanks to the county and the workers and the elected officials who represent us so well each and every day. And they are entrusted with public dollars to make a difference, but there are so many needs. There will never be enough public dollars to do all the things that need to be done. And that's where philanthropy comes in, and that's why we're a part of this. We are one of 850 community foundations in the country. We are the 70th largest in terms of asset size. We're about 330 million, but we are the 6th busiest in terms of transactions. And I think that represents the Ozarks, that we're a generous group of people, but not a wealthy group of people. Last year alone, we took in $50 million, granted back out $34 million in about 28,000 separate transactions. Several of the funds are for projects like this. Most recently, I was sharing with one of the folks that we did a fund like this for the Gasconade County Courthouse for a historic renovation. So there are a lot of needs we know in this pandemic, and a lot of you have been very generous in helping us with our goals, and certainly with the CARES Act that you all have done. But one day this pandemic will be over, and we're going to need to preserve and protect that quality of life we appreciate so much here in the Ozarks. And including in that is historic preservations of great legacies of buildings here in the courthouse. So that's what this will allow you to do. Again, never enough public dollars, but again, that's why philanthropy is so important here in our region. Once you hear about this fund and if you want to contribute, it's very easy. You can just send a check to us, and we average about 110 checks every day. I can tell you we're getting about twice that many this time of year. Or you can go online and give, certainly, and just go by the fund name you'll hear about here in a little bit. But it's easy to do. We want to make it easy, and this is an important thing for our region and our county. Thank you very much, and thanks to the county for allowing us to be a small part of this. And now you get Trace. Thanks.
Thank you, sirs. Before we wrap up and start to take questions about this important fund, we have one very important final piece that we'd like to bring to the public's attention. So if I could, I'd like to ask Presiding Commissioner Dixon to come up and explain the very important final piece of this fund.
Well, thanks to all of the speakers that we've heard from already, but there is one man in this room that during his service to Greene County has lived by the philosophy that there's no limit to what can be accomplished when it doesn't matter who gets the credit. Well, today we're going to flip that, and we're going to give some credit where credit is due. Commissioner Harold Bengsch is a person with the highest integrity. and he is known for being a true public servant. But even more than that, he has always been a champion of Greene County and its wonderful employees. There are countless examples of Harold going to bat for our employees, especially during the lean years, when working for the county meant foregoing raises and often foregoing very much needed resources, as well as countless examples of his ability to foster collaboration to accomplish tasks that seemed otherwise completely undoable. After 16 years as a commissioner, many of us are now fortunate to call him friend and have him as an amazing mentor. As you all know, he is retiring in just a few days. While we could not hold a proper retirement party, this press conference is the next best thing, we hope, to gathering and wishing him a happy retirement. That, and we want to further announce that the new name for the Greene County Fund is being officially named the Harold K. Bengsch Fund for Greene County. And we are just thrilled to be able to announce that today. We're also pleased to be able to tell you that we already have, and I think it's because of the name, folks, the secret got out. We're pleased to announce that we already have more than $4,000 in gifts and pledges. So thank you very much. And I'll now ask Commissioner John Russell to join me and say a few remarks as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Dixon. And like Harold stated, the Greene County employees are some of the best, and they dedicate themselves every single day to helping our fellow citizens. So I am certainly excited about this avenue to further show them that appreciation. And it could not be named after a better person. Harold Bengsch is the epitome of a true public servant and statesman. He is someone who is genuine and kind, and he has the absolute highest degree of personal integrity. He's served our community for decades because he genuinely cares about this community and every single person in it. And that has led to his ability to foster collaboration in many, many areas of our community. You know, people from outside the area say how well this area collaborates. And that takes many, but that also takes leadership. And I think this person to my left is largely responsible for that collaboration. You can best get a sense of his demeanor by the philosophy that he lives by and is framed on his door. There is no limit to what can be accomplished when it doesn't matter who gets the credit. He lives and breathes this. We'll never know everything that Harold's accomplished because he absolutely does not try to take the credit. He just wants this to be a better place. And there are countless improvements in our community that would not exist if it were not for Harold Bengsch. We are all better because of him. I'm fortunate to call Harold my friend and an amazing mentor, and I'm lucky to have had the opportunity to work alongside him to see him in action. On behalf of every citizen of Greene County, Harold, we thank you, and we thank Darlene.
He asked me if I wanted to say anything. It's not that I don't want to, it's that I can't. So, I don't know where we go from here, Don. All I can say is, thank you.
Thank you again for coming. Are there any questions?
Well,
I'm sorry, I'll try not to tear up myself.
it wouldn't be a true final press conference if he doesn't get a question from the press.
Let her fly.
Can't let you go that easy, Harold. Right now, we live in a society with the presidential election where there's a lot of division, a lot of fractures in the community, and one of the things that you're known for is collaboration. A lot of residents are asking, how do we start taking a step back toward each other? What would be Harold Bensch's recommendations for citizens that want to start healing the divide?
Quit politicizing the issues that are important and get on with doing something about those issues. We can fight all the way from the hen house to the barn in politics, but that doesn't solve much. We can accomplish a lot when we say, let's do it together. That's about all I can say on that.
Thanks, Harold.
Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know whether I have a question about the fund itself, the operation of the fund, would that be you?
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Yeah. For the fund itself, if people want to make specific gifts for, say, the luncheon or to repair the parapet, I mean, is the fund a general fund where it's just one lump sum, or can people make specific donations for specific purposes?
And that might be, Bob, you could answer that better. We have, the one thing you'll find out about community foundations, it's a blessing and a curse, is flexibility. So, we can do whatever needs to be done, and Bob, you might wanna talk a little bit about those specifics.
So we set this up, the first and foremost was what Harold announced, but we have basically a fund within a fund for the historic preservation. So we'll be doing some fundraising for both of those purposes in the months and years ahead, but here even hopefully very soon, over the next coming weeks and months.
And so just to be clear, for the critics who always come out of the woodwork, no taxpayer dollars will be involved with this fund or the projects connected to this fund.
And that's absolutely correct. In fact, the letter that was sent to our office holders and department heads was printed on private paper.
Thank you.
There's no other questions. We thank everybody again for coming. It's great to have good news to give, and have a great weekend.
Congratulations, my friend.
You guys pull one.
That's the best part.
Thank you all so much.